So recently, with Directorate X losing their most dangerous weapon, the Winter Soldier, or Logan, to the good guys, the opposition, Directorate X has fast-tracked their next super killer, who they refer to as the Angel Specimen. And I'm just gonna say right now, this guy needs to be nerfed. So if you're enjoying these videos, be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell up top to get all notifications. Alright, so following our last talk, when we saw Logan return to the opposition and get his mind freed with the help of David Haller, this soon after led to him getting the codename Wolverine. And this came along with him hearing about the first mission that he would be needed for, when Abigail Brand and Mikhail Rasputin prepped the group for a rescue mission on Snake Island at an off-site prison, where mutants are being experimented on, which the opposition had just learned about from some of the memories recovered from Logan during his time as the Winter Soldier. So with Beast choosing the best of their operatives to head out on this mission, Wolverine was of course among them. But just before they leave, we get this moment where Logan has his monologue, and it's quite literally like him standing in the locker room, getting ready for his first game after returning to his home team. Because now that he has the codename Wolverine, for Logan he needs to put more behind that. But this continues with him saying here, "Is this what I am? A soulless monster driven to kill? Or am I something more? Am I worth saving?" And he goes on to say, in his birthday suit, "Once I served with a fella from some island named Genosha. He told me about the history of the place, told me about a 1,000-year-old ritual, not performed anymore, but it was once the law of the land. To become an adult, the people of Genosha would undergo an exorcism. They purged themselves of the past and emerged renewed. If they didn't, they were doomed to a kind of limbo. They were considered unclean, fodder for demons. They stripped down and covered themselves in chalk, a symbol of purification. A priest would feed them fungus that'd make them hallucinate, and they'd set them out in the wild. Then they'd face themselves. After what I'd done as Winter Soldier, I needed something. I'd done bad things before, war's hell as they say, but it wasn't me, and whoever the hell it was, I want him out of me. I want to be clean, free, and I want revenge. I remake myself like the old ritual says. I take the things they use to change me, and I make them mine. I feel something changing in me as I pull on the clothes of my enemy. It's like I'm peeling skin away. It feels raw. I can feel the blood pumping hot in my veins, heart's thumping. I ain't what they said I was, not anymore. Now, I'm reborn. And those sick, and I'm just gonna say sons of biscuits, don't know what's coming their way." So yeah, I gotta say, I love seeing this because for a while I was concerned about how this would go down. Because the whole time we saw Logan as the Winter Soldier, we knew at some point he was gonna return to the opposition, fight with the good guys. But after everything he had done, I was concerned that he was gonna throw the whole suit away and just be like, I don't want anything to do with the Winter Soldier. But with how this turned out, not only is he renewing his identity, but it's almost like he's taking the weapon he was made into and he's pointing that right back at Directorate X. And after this, as the team is making their way to Snake Island, which is located in the Black Sea, as they get closer, Abigail Brand, she gives her leader speech here because she's like, "Listen up, we are heading into enemy territory. We thrive in enemy territory. We are the opposition. We are Strike Team X. Let's make them remember that." And as soon as they touch land, she's like, "All right, it's showtime. Move out. Let's free us some muties." And I'll say, even now, without a doubt, Wolverine is locked in. And as they approach, Gambit, he takes care of the gate, creating an entrance, and soon after that, he handles the mines too. And it's a pretty spectacular light show, if I do say so. But just after handling the mines, he looks over at Kitty and he says, "Easy like Sunday morning, Minou," which is Kitty in French, just before she tells him, "Whatever you say, Magic Hands." And right there, I'm gonna tell you, I couldn't have been there because I'd just been like, oh my goodness, you two. Like Magic Hands? Okay. Wow. And when they approach, next Abigail calls for Kitty to go up. So Kitty walks through the wall to take a look inside. But when she does, Wolverine takes a couple sniffs and he's like, something's off. Where are the guards? And Widow tells him that she didn't see any. So Logan's just like, there ain't no way they'd leave a top secret prison unguarded. And Widow agrees with Logan because something is definitely wrong here. So now Gambit is freaking out because Kitty just walked inside and they have no clue what she just stepped into. But not after long, Kitty comes back, though I'm sure it felt like forever to Gambit. But when Kitty comes back out, her mouth is covered and she's just like, oh God. And Abigail and the others is like, what did you see? And Kitty tells them, bodies. There were bodies everywhere. So now Logan's just like, get the door open. And as soon as they do, they see exactly what Kitty described, because it is a bloodbath in here. And right away, Guardian is like, I thought this was a rescue mission. No, because these guys have yet to see any sign of life. But when Wolverine goes in to inspect the bodies, he finds that they're littered with these very sharp projectile objects. So he pulls one out, takes a couple sniffs, And Kitty asks him if he knows what it is, and Logan just tells her, don't know, but it ain't good. But after picking up this scent, what he does know is that the killer is right down the hall. And as they head down the hall, I gotta say, I like the way that Beast is thinking here, because he just says, I don't know about this, Brand. And Brand just tells him, we get in, we get out. The plan hasn't changed, McCoy. We got us some muties to save. And Beast is just like, I mean, if they're alive. Because since they got here, this whole situation's been looking all bad. So Wolverine proceeds to lead them to whatever this thing is, because they don't know what it is yet, which takes them to this large room, and Wolverine's like, it's there. And as they step in, on the other side of this room, they see this dude with these huge metal wings saying, I won't let you, I won't let you, over and over again. And just based off of that, Logan's like, yeah, this guy ain't playing with a full deck. And right there, I'm just like, yeah, that's a fair assessment. Like, this guy's got 2 books of possible and a go fish. Like, his rules ain't normal. But Kitty approaches Logan and she tells him, no, those wings, I remember him from the files. His name's Warren Worthington. He's scared, Logan. He needs help. And then she starts to say, I can, and then she's like, no, we can help. And really quick, I want to point out here that we're also shown an article from 2011 that was published by the Daily Bugle, with it pointing out angel sightings in California, alongside of a number of other locations across the North American Union. And at the start of the article, Warren's described with having the white wings, which immediately caused a number of people to have religious assumptions. And many of these sightings weren't even clear, with people claiming that they had the sun in their eyes, but later on the story changed, as the assumptions grew more negative, with the chief of police saying, we don't know if it's a living creature or a mechanical device, and over time was just referred to as a UFO, or unidentified flying object. But at this time, with Kitty having a level of familiarity with Warren, and again, just based on what she's read from the files, she approaches this like, hey, we need to save this guy just like we did for Logan, more or less. So she makes her way closer and she says, hey, Warren, we're friends. We've come here to, and he just stops her right there because he looks over his shoulder and he says, I won't let you. And he keeps repeating it, only to turn around and flick one of his huge metallic wings and just shower the team with blades. And this happens so fast. Fortunately, Kitty has a split second to make herself intangible so they pass right through. And Wolverine's quick, so he's able to parry with his claws. But in the case of Beast and Abigail Brand, the 2 of them are hit before they even know what happened. And I'm not gonna front, as soon as I saw this, my jaw was dropped. And I was like, what just happened? Because this dude, Warren Worthington, who Directorate X refers to as the Angel Specimen, we'll learn more about him in just a moment, but as it stands for the moment, just think of his abilities like Archangel from Earth 616. Though in this world, Warren didn't get that name, because as we know, Mikhail Rasputin already called dibs on Archangel. But yeah, after this devastating attack, Wolverine and the remaining members of the team go in. And this almost comes across like a group boss fight in a way, because Strike Team X already knows that this dude, the Angel Specimen, he'll one-shot them given the chance. So when every one of these guys go in, they make it count. Because if this was a turn-based match, it'd be like, okay, you got 1 move. Everyone in the party gets 1 move. And if it ain't good, you're done. So immediately, Wolverine goes to pin this guy on the ground, because the last thing he wants for the Angel Specimen to take flight in this huge room that's not very well lit. And after that, Widow goes for a shot that disconnects some wiring on the back of Angel's head, just as Gambit takes his shot, and Guardian comes off of the top rope with the hammer time. And all this together allows them to take down the Angel Specimen fairly quickly. And just after they're done, now that they've encountered this current version of Warren Worthington, there's a moment here where Logan kind of mocks Kitty, because just before this popped off, she was like, he needs help. So now Logan's approaching Kitty like, yeah, right, he needs help. And Kitty just tells him, you did, didn't you? Because she had a similar experience when Logan was the Winter Soldier and he came after her. But it's not like she's saying this to make him feel bad, though you can tell he feels some kind of way. But really it's just to tell Logan that this guy deserves a chance just like he got. And Logan says here, I know it's not him, it's this damn country. Messing around with brains, the experiments, I got saved. I came back. Yeah, but how do we know they ain't changed him so much he can't ever go back? And his Widow approaches Beast's body. She's like, this ain't a damsel in distress, kid. It's a freaking horseman of the apocalypse. Which is a nice touch. See what you did there? Understood that reference. And right after that, Wolverine says something here that really shows he's still dealing with a lot of the guilt from what he'd done during his time as the Winter Soldier. Because next he says here, claws, wings, the one thing that matters is how well does it kill. So even if we can, does he deserve saving? Does he even want it? Did I? And without hesitation, Kitty tells Logan yes, he deserves a chance like you did. So Logan's just like, then you better hotwire his brain before he kills you too. But also at this time, Logan's attention is drawn away when he hears a voice coming from upstairs, with it clearly being someone trying to reach out to a Dr. Strugatsky at this prison who's not responding, with it being the voice of who we know to be Director Prostovic, who's reaching out to get an update on the Angel specimen. And she mentions a few others who we may or may not see down the line, like Moz or Mimic, but the Angel specimen was definitely the top priority. And we'll learn more about that in a moment. But again, with Director Prostovic reaching out to Dr. Strugatsky, she has the leaders breathing down her neck about it. So she's low-key threatening the doctor to give her something, because if she don't come through, it's a wrap for her. But as Logan approaches the screen, Director Prostovic's like, wait, who is that? Step forward, I can see you there. And as Logan steps forward, she's like, Doctor, if this is your idea of a game, and I'm just gonna say right now, who would even play like that? But as Logan steps closer, she quickly realizes who she's looking at. And she's very relieved to see that he's alive, though for some strange reason, Logan just doesn't share that same sentiment. Like, I wonder why. But this reaction from Director Prostovic, it kind of reminds me of some of the weird moments we got back in Ultimate Wolverine issue 2, where Director Prostovic had often showed this very protective and nurturing nature towards the Winter Soldier, which might have been nothing, but I'm not exactly sure. But nonetheless, she's relieved to see that he's alive. And that could very well just be based on the reasoning of her not wanting magic to send her back to hell. But with Wolverine hearing her voice and seeing her face, he doesn't even take a chance. He just pops his ultimate on that computer like Berserker Rage. And he just tears it to pieces. And when this happens, Kitty's just like, who the hell was that? And Logan tells her somebody who's gonna be dead pretty soon. And right there, it's like, oh, okay, cool. And now aside from this, one of the last things that we're shown is a message from Dr. Strugatsky that didn't make its way to Director Prostovic, with it saying here, I am abandoning work on the Angel specimen immediately, and I am ordering that all testing at the Snake Island underground facility be ended immediately, pending further review. I am making this decision on my own without authorization of the Eurasian Republic or my direct supervisor. You, Director, I understand that this may result in disciplinary action, which I am prepared to confront, but I cannot continue putting my people at risk for the furthering of this weapons program. This next phase, after the loss of the Winter Soldier specimen, has been rushed into the experimentation phase, solely based on the success of the Winter Soldier program. The Angel specimen is not the Winter Soldier. It is unpredictable and dangerous. His mind is too fragile. He has killed 7 people this week alone, 3 doctors and 4 guards. Last week, he killed 2 doctors, a guard, and one of the other specimens. No matter what we do, we cannot stop his continued penchant for violence. Worse still is the fact that we have replaced his feathered wings, which were dangerous only to those not possessing them once they have taken flight, with wings made of razor-sharp projectiles. What brilliance! We have created our own death sentence. Even now, I can hear his screams, incessant, painful, angry. I hear. And after that, we're just told the alarms went off, there were no survivors discovered on Snake Island, and that the facility was closed pending further investigation. But yeah, just based on the way that message was worded, Dr. Strugatsky was a real one. But now, following this experience, I'm really curious to see how this whole situation with the Angel specimen pans out after he spent some time with David Haller. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like and let me know in the comments your thoughts on the Angel specimen, or even on this mission overall, because man, this wasn't even close to what they thought was going to happen here. And so now real quick, I want to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all of your support. And for anyone who's new here, who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below where you can go to patreon.com/dopespill. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll do it again on the next one. All right, later.